Okay, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? So, I'm gonna live right quick because I want to talk about what's going on with the UFC and Dana White and they just got a big deal with Paramount, and now there's rumors have it that this saying that UFC don't care anymore about putting on great fights. Me personally, I haven't watched the UFC in about 2.5 years. I'm not gonna mention why, but I do keep up with the stories here and there. So I do know that the UFC just got a big deal from Paramount, 7 point something billion dollars and 1 point something billion dollars a year for 7 years. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it appears ever since they got that big deal, no more pay per views. So I want to get that out of the way. No more pay per views. So that's a good thing, right? Yes, but so far, the UFC, from what I've been told, has not been putting on great fights yet. They just recently had a BMF title fight between Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway, and and actually Holloway got dominated. Holloway got dominated, dominated. Oh my God, Holloway got dominated. Now, I say that because a lot of people was mad about that fight, meaning that because BMF fights, I guess people want them to just go back and forth, like robots. But a fight is a fight. A fight is a fight. And when I used to do MMA, I was mostly known as a grappler. So my point is, my always thing is to always take the fight to the ground. Yes, I want to put on a show. So that's why I even tell myself when I go slam somebody, I want to make sure I slam them hard, so everyone can feel the impact. But anyway, this live is not about me right now. This live is about Dana White. Is Dana White still running the UFC? I don't know. I don't think so. Um, I don't think so because, he's into the Zuffa boxing now, which he's been trying to do forever. And in the boxing world, he has focus. He's focusing on the slap boxing, but BS. And now he's doing the boxing. He's according to him, he's gonna try to fix boxing. But but I don't. But I think it's known by now that Dana White does not. Dana White no longer does. Dana White no longer does scheduling of fighters. So my question is, what type of power does Dana White have right now? Because UFC was sold years ago, and then now he has a Paramount deal, and to me, Dana White looks like he's checked out already. Dana White is focused more on his boxing and his dumb slapping thing, and the UFC fans are waiting to see what's next because yes, there's no more pay per view, which is a good thing, but then what's going on that the UFC is not putting on great fights. You know, everyone's complaining. Everyone is complaining about the White House card. So it's like after they got the money from Paramount, the UFC said, okay, fuck it," you know, which is not good because the reason the UFC became huge is because UFC definitely tried to put on the best fights for sure. But ever since this deal with Paramount, I mean it's still a brand new deal. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like the UFC is like on cruise control now. And my thing is, after this deal, are the fighters gonna get a raise? I know Dana White says yes, but I'm talking about a good raise. Did you know that the NFL, NBA, MLB, MLS, all those the players get about 50% of the revenue, but UFC fighters as a whole get around 70%, I think, which is not nearly close to what other big leagues get. And what's funny is that UFC want to claim that they are just as big as the NBA, NFL, but then again, when it comes to fighter pay, they don't pay the fighters accordingly. I'm sorry, they just don't. I think fighters collectively should get paid at least half, at least 50% of the UFC revenue. 'Cause that's what other players get. That's what other fighters. That's what other players, football players, NBA, other professional sports leagues. The players get about 50% of the revenue. But for the UFC, they don't get that. And to me, that's a problem. To me, that's a big problem because they want to talk about this and that, this and that, this and that. Oh, with as big as the NBA, NFL. But then again, you don't do things to make it seem like that. You just don't. And I'm not here to hate on the UFC. I tried out for the UFC in season 5, so I'm not hating on the UFC, but I'm just calling it like it is. I'm retired now, but I still want to see fighters do well. I do. So my question is Dana White gonna do something about it? Is he in control anymore? How much power does Dana White have? How much power does Dana White have? I just don't know. I don't know how much power he got with the UFC. But I do know that the fighters need to get paid more, and the UFC need to put on better fights. And now you have fighters, especially heavyweight champions now, wanting to leave UFC to go boxing.